What's up guys, TheLastPwnr here. I am in my pajamas and Zatchet is laying in bed. I just thought I'd let you know. Welcome to the beautiful game that I like to call Warframe. I like to call it Warframe because it is called Warframe. It's a pretty good reason. This has become very recently popular amongst internet forums and gamers alike. It just kind of showed up one day. Digital Extremes, which made, or didn't make, but they helped a lot with the whole Unreal tournament 2, 3, 4 extravaganza, whatever it all ended up. I just never really too much into Unreal, but they've helped a lot in the structures of games that we all really like to play. And in the midst of that, they made their own game known as Dark Sector. Dark Sector had a bunch of lore to it. Wasn't too discovered as far as I know, but the thing that made it so cool was the lore behind it was this. So, Hayden Tenno, just a normal guy, part of the military or something like that. I don't know much of the Dark Sector lore, but what I do know is how it ties in with the Warframe lore. And he gets infected by this thing called the Technocyte virus. I think that's how you pronounce it. And it creates this strange growth, biomechanical growth on his arm that makes it stronger, more powerful, and with that he wields a glaive, which is like a three-pronged throwing star, and it's like a boomerang, can come back to you and stuff like that. So he goes on to fight the oppressive government, whatever it is, and which I believe later in the lore becomes the Grineer that you fight in this game. Because Hayden Tenno is the first Tenno. The Tenno race that you play as, who guide the Warframes, are based off of him. He started it because he discovered he kind of liked what the Technocyte virus did to him. So he created the first Excalibur type Warframe, which if you reference here, I put an annotation in the top right corner where you can click a link to look at a picture or maybe some lore of the Dark Sector and the Wikipedia page. You can see that it has a helmet and an arm and stuff like that that look practically the same as the Warframe Excalibur itself, which you are seeing right over here in the lore section, which is really cool. They explain the entire lore of the game all in one big part. Corpus, Grineer, the Grineer guy, Captain Vor, who they recently updated to have more lore. The 3 operations, they haven't done Arid Fear, and that just lagged out. So, right. But, I guess he's supposed to be phasing through. Arid Fear was a thing where they went to the Orokin Void. The Orokin are the origins of the Technocyte virus and stuff like that. Please don't kill me if I got that wrong. I know how intense some people are. They think they know everything about the lore that has to do with this game and the Dark Sector games, and they're like, Brada Frada, it did not start from Technocyte, it started from Infested, or Infested start from Technocyte, they should not be. So, yep, some things can be pretty bad around here. But in any case, the Infested, or the Infestation, the proper way of saying it, are practically the zombies of the game, but they are part of the Technocyte virus with an outbreak during the collapse, which was practically when Earth went down, which was during Dark Sector, if I remember correctly. The Grineer are mutated and cloned humans who are being guided by the Sisters, who are 2 queens, who do angry things and are probably going to be implemented into the game later. The Corpus are your general robot-making traders who hate people. They take the parts of the Tenno and their Warframe armor and sell them to the highest bidder. So we don't like them very much. Vor himself, the main guy, looks very creepy, so I'm going to go to a different picture. Still looks creepy, but okay. He's very bent on discovering Orokin secrets, and no matter how many times you kill him, he can practically regenerate because of the aforementioned Orokin secrets. So that explains a little bit why you can kill him multiple times, which I appreciate that Digital Extremes went to that extreme, shall I say. That was bad. In any case, let me just show you a little gameplay and explain you how it works. This is the solar map. From here, you can choose which planet or moon of a planet that you want to go to, especially since Pluto is not a planet. I'm sorry, but it just isn't. From here, you start out on Mercury, and you'll find yourself facing some pretty low-level missions, so you don't have to worry about, help, how do. Though I do have to say, if you want to have fun and or get through a challenge, such as assassination missions, I recommend, highly recommend, 1, a good computer, which I'll get to later, and 2, playing online, which can be found in this little tab up here, or maybe a group of friends. Personally, I like to play with Architect. He's covers the Ash Warframe, which is a high DPS stealth Warframe, which I'm going to explain right now. The different Warframes are as follows. We have Excalibur, who is the main DPS beginner Warframe, great for new players. We have, what's his name and where is he? Loki, yes, who is the secondary DPS mixed with high ability user trickster type Warframe, which Zatchet likes to play, but we don't talk about Zatchet because he ditched us, and so Architect and I were like, let's become high level, and so we just destroyed this game. And coming soon is a series we're going to call Carrying Zatchet, because we're going to carry him because he hasn't even left the second planet yet. So we're gonna carry him to the hardest boss fights, watch him die, and attempt to help him through it. Because if we can get him up to high level, it'd be nice to have 3 people for some of these things, like the new Raptor, or whenever they release the new J3. In any case, the third beginner Warframe is Mag. You get all 3 of these choices at the beginning of the game, which has a very detailed tutorial based off the most recent trailer, which you can also check out, link in the description. And go check out Digital Extremes too, they post some nice stuff. The Mag Warframe uses, she's a bit of a light support. She can manipulate enemies into shooting each other, which is great for leveling up pretty early, except that you don't get any XP out of it, but it's nice for getting to higher levels, or tile sets as they like to call them. And she can just be overall useful to have with you. And then we have Rhino and Frost. Where'd Frost run off to? Yes, there he is. Who are the main tank things, but Rhino is more based on tank, while Frost is more based on defense, heavy support, support in general. You can even do a heavy DPS with him if you want, but most people expect Frost to be the defense guy. And that's okay, because he's fun to run defense with. Volt was a beginner Warframe. They pulled him out of that because he was a little too powerful to be one. They wanted you to have to work to get him, and that's understandable because his supercharge, or whatever it's called, practically just obliterates any and all things that are near him. Trinity is the main healer of the game at the moment, and technically still isn't a healer, but she can cover that field. She can even be a solo tank considering she can heal herself. But if you want to help out some people, and if you aren't much of a heavy DPS, or you're not that accurate yourself, it can be good to help some people out. Saren covers the I don't really know what she covers. She's practically heavy DPS as well, but she can also be support with the fact that she can melt people into nothingness with poison. A lot of people. I personally want to get Saren pretty soon, because every person should play as a female character. No, that's not the reason. Because I love to support the other players and kick butt by myself at the same time. Vauban, I am 1 part away from getting, mind you. And dang systems. Anyone who plays Warframe knows that the systems are the hardest to get. And if they implement trading, I will pay you my everything to get it. He is like it says, he is the combat engineer of the game. Can throw down traps and launch people into space or into their own lights. Throws down these energy grenades and stuff like that. So he's another DPS or support, considering he can do things like they call them Bastille and Vortex, which completely covers a fair amount of the field depending on how much you rank it up, which I'll also get to later, how to rank things up. But he can really take down quite a few people or help other people take people down. Nyx, mind control, and bending of reality. That is just what Nyx does. She's a good, almost kind of like a stealth frame, but not as much as Ashe, who is the stealth frame, buggiest frame of the entire game. His main, or his ultimate attack is Blade Storm, which is the, Jappa-cheesy anime style phase through reality and be invisible to stab people really fast move. And it looks really cool in multiplayer, I have to give him that. But a couple people don't like to have him around because of how buggy he is. I personally think he's great, and Architect plays as him, so you can have your own opinion. Banshee. I kind of wanted Banshee, but she became recently useless with the addition of Nova and stuff like that. But every once in a while, nice to have. Sound-based attacks, great for stealth gameplay, I have to admit, because she can reveal where certain enemies are and their weak points using echolocation. So it's always fun to have her around, but her exceedingly low armor means she dies pretty fast, so you gotta keep her safe or stealthy. Sorry about that. Ember and Nova kind of almost cover the same field in a way, except that Ember is more crowd control and Nova is more, actually Nova is really good crowd control. They both cover crowd control, but in different ways. Ember burns everything up, if you couldn't tell by her name, and Nova uses antimatter. Personally, I'd rather antimatter people out of existence, kind of like Vauban can with Vortex, rather than burn people to shreds. Unless you are on a map, that would be nice to just cover a wide area, because Nova affects enemies while Ember murders them. So, those are your Warframes. Let's move on to the weapons. This itself is the main arsenal. This is where you select what your Warframe will be using in the instances and battles. My personal favorites aren't attached at the moment, but you start out with the Mk1 Breton, which is practically it's somewhere in between an SMG and an assault rifle. The Lotto, which I have chosen the dual version of, because ain't nobody who does not like akimbo. And the Skana, which I have replaced with the next version up, the Cronus, which you get from the first boss battle. There are a lot of extra weapons in the game, just loads upon loads of different fire types, and, I mean, there's useless things like the Gurkata. No one likes the Gurkata. But there's burst fire rifles, there's heavy machine guns, shotguns, compound hunting bows, decapitation hunting bows, sniper rifles, semi-automatic rifles, you know, like the SVD, but cooler. The pistols have a large choice of normal pistols, burst pistols, automatic pistols, heavy pistols, burst fire heavy pistols, that's a new thing. Throwing stars, revolvers, throwing knives, and hand cannons. Let me just tell you how vast this game is, and we haven't even gotten started yet. We're at update 9. Update 10 is coming out, and I'm also going to release an update video. But at the moment, we're just starting with this. We also have size, dual short axes, dual short blades, really cool things, hand-to-hand combat, throwable weapons, bow staves, daggers. What else is there? There's more? There's more. Battle axes, battle hammers, cleavers, daggers, swords, boomerangs. This game covers a lot, and they haven't even gotten started. Oh yes, polearms. I forgot to mention polearms. Eventually you will find yourself with a fair amount of mods like myself. Mods are what make your Warframe more powerful, because overall, if you just rank up your Warframe to 30, which can then be brought to 60 through the use of an Orokin reactor, but we'll get to that later, or maybe in another video because I already have so much content. I clicked on the wrong thing. The mods themselves go into slots with polarity slots, which I am breaking at the moment. Polarity slots bring down the cost of a mod, because you only start with so much slot room. Every level brings up your capacity, and using a reactor doubles that capacity, while using an aura gives you an ability and brings up your capacity even more. And whereas polarities for normal mods bring down the cost, polarities for auras bring up the boost. So you get some pretty good stuff out of this. You can just recharge your energy without even having to try. You can bring up your shield and health capacity to unwittingly humongous levels. I don't have the greatest build at the moment. I don't even know why I gave him rush. Probably because, sadly, a lot of these people in-game like to rush, and I do not prefer that. I am the check every room for loot, Legend of Zelda type guy. You know? I didn't go around this corner. I know the boss fight is around this corner, but what if there's something in this corner? That's just the way I play. Every Warframe comes with 4 abilities. Excalibur, being a DPS, has 4... What's the last one? Oh, that's the reason I don't have it attached. We'll talk about that. We have Slash Dash, which is exactly what it sounds like. You know, in those animes, whenever 2 guys come at each other and they go, ah, da, da, and they're screaming, and then they pass each other, and there's like a 10-second pause, and then one of them explodes, like, blah, and that's practically what Slash Dash is, except you win every time, except if you're facing the Stalker. But we'll get to that too. Radial Blind is the awesome I stick my sword up in the air sometimes saying, Ayo, there goes your eyes, oh, type thing. They can't see. Radial Javelin, you stab it into the ground instead of the air, and like it says, Javelins of Death penetrate and stick your enemies to walls. How about that? And then there's the one we don't like to talk about, Super Jump. There's about 1 or 2 times in the entirety of the game that this is useful. Do not waste any mod space on this unless you want to be a frog. No one wants to be a frog. So if you find yourself in, say, the Oregon Void where there are traps, sure, maybe attach Super Jump so you can jump out of the traps on occasion. But otherwise, there is so much more you can do. Literally, I could replace Steel Fiber with Super Jump, and you know what I'd get? A Frog Jump. You know what I could have? 30% more armor, which could be even more if I wanted to. But the mods in this game are endless. You have ones that make you immune to lasers, or semi-immune to lasers. You have ones that bring up your sniper scavenging. You can bring up ammo, which is good because snipers and their ammo are hard to find. Loot radars, power efficiency and range. You can cover a pretty vast range. But forget about me talking. Why don't I just show you?